I am Jamie, 47 years old. Ever since I got married at my husband's request, who has never done housework, I have been supporting him as a housewife. I met my husband Elliot, who turns 50 this year, at the hospital where I used to work. It was a typical story, a nurse and a patient. He approached me on the day he was discharged. He was handsome, a smooth talker, and skilled in handling women. I, being naive, quickly fell for him, and we smoothly transitioned into marriage. Unfortunately, we couldn't have children, and our conversations have significantly dwindled. But we always make sure to go out for a slightly extravagant dinner on birthdays, Christmas, and anniversaries. We're not exactly a close couple, but just like many other mature couples out there, like...
Here we go again, I sighed in the kitchen.
For the past few months, Elliot's been coming home late. His working on weekends has increased, and our already limited conversations have decreased even more. I glanced at my mobile phone. Despite its smart appearance, Elliot, an analog man, is a basic user of mobile phones capable of messaging, emailing, and of course calling. Originally not even owning a feature phone, Elliot decided to buy a simple phone with a messaging app saying, "I should be able to contact you if I'm going to be late." He's been practicing with it for 6 months, even taking it to the toilet and shower. Yet the lack of communication makes the phone seem pointless.
If I finish eating alone, he'll definitely complain. What about my portion? And if I prepare a meal, he says, "I've already eaten."
That's how it is. I don't want to blame Elliot, who returns exhausted from socializing at work, but it's sad that most of the meals I painstakingly prepare for him end up being eaten by me the next day. One day I got into the car to go shopping. Elliot usually treats it like his own, using it for his commute on weekdays and even on his work weekends. So I hardly ever drive it, but today Elliot was unusually at home. While Elliot was sleeping, I secretly planned to drive to a distant supermarket having a sale, and I turned on the car navigation for the first time. In a while, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the history.
What's this? Cafe and Sunrise Aquarium? Come on. I don't remember going to either.
I haven't even driven in a month. There were more suspicious entries unrelated to work, and a cold sweat ran down my back. Stay calm, I told myself, taking a deep breath, trembling. I took out my phone to take a picture. It was 8 a.m. Elliot, who often returns drunk from work-related outings, had come home in a taxi at 1 a.m. He was still sound asleep, snoring. This was my chance. I've always liked the forensics character. I always liked the forensics characters in detective dramas. Pretending to be one, I meticulously searched the car seats and the trash can. A long, wavy blonde hair and a small gold earring were found between the seat cushions.
Got it. It's not my hair.
I have kept my hair short for the ease of care over the past few years. Besides, neither Elliot nor I have pierced ears. I couldn't bring myself to drive in such an unsettling state. I decided against shopping and returned home, resuming my household chores as if nothing had happened. 2 times of breakfast, ironing shirts and handkerchiefs, polishing leather shoes every night, always homemade meals, etc. I have been a housewife for 20 years, fulfilling every domestic request of Elliot's, only to be betrayed like this. It was humiliating, and I didn't want to believe it. After a while, Elliot woke up.
Good morning. Which would you prefer for breakfast? Eggs Benedict or yogurt?
I'll have the yogurt. Drank too much last night. Where's the newspaper?
It's on the table.
I served breakfast as Elliot read the newspaper with a TV as background noise. The one he didn't choose, I would eat. Isn't that just like a good housewife preparing 2 meals? It was a typical morning scene. I sat opposite Elliot, maintaining my composure, and spoke. Hey, can I borrow the car today? There's a sale at a far-off supermarket I want to go.
It's been a while. Maybe you should stop.
Don't worry, I'll use the car navigation.
I'm worried I'll go instead.
Elliot answered slowly, as if choosing his words, and I smiled back at him.
Then how about we go together?
Sure. I'll clean the car after breakfast, so get ready.
Elliot roughly folded the paper and hurriedly finished his breakfast. He scurried to the front door in his pajamas. Once the door closed, I put the found hair and earring into a small Ziploc bag, wrote the date and time on it, opened the storage under the kitchen, and tucked it deep inside. That day I rode in the car driven by Elliot for the first time in months. The car, vacuum clean, had no trace of trash, and when I started the navigation, all the suspicious history was gone. With no concrete proof, I decided to turn a blind eye this time, but there won't be a second time. I glared at Elliot in my mind, unusually kind today. For a few weeks, things were calm until my birthday, when an incident occurred.
Elliot planned to finish work early to have a fancy dinner.
I have made reservations at the restaurant near the station for 8:30 tonight. Don't be late.
I told him while doing the morning chores. Elliot's response was nonchalant, as if he wasn't really listening. Was he sleep-deprived from being late yesterday? Since then, Elliot always informed me when he would be late, almost eliminating my dinner worries, but his late returns remain unchanged. Late returns remained unchanged. I just hoped he wouldn't fall ill. That was the only thing I was worried about. That evening, dressed up, I headed to the reserved restaurant, a 15-minute walk from our house. It was in the tallest building near the station. I was seated by the window. I informed Elliot I was already there and waited, while sipping my drink. But no matter how long I waited, there was no word from Elliot. 30 minutes past the reservation time. I reached my limit and called him. After several rings, Elliot answered warily.
Hello?
Kalel? Where are you? I'm waiting at the restaurant near the station, remember?
Sorry, work piled up. I can't make it.
What?
Wait a minute. You always manage to come home on time on days like this. And couldn't you have informed me earlier if you couldn't make it?
Did he just click his tongue? Is celebrating his wife's birthday that annoying?
I couldn't contact you. I'm working. Just cancel it and go home. I'll hang up now.
Wait a minute. Before I could protest, he hung up abruptly. On any other day, it would be okay, but it's my birthday. I called the waiter, explained the situation, and offered to pay the cancellation fees. He said I only needed to pay for one, and suggested I stay and eat. As I hesitated, my phone pinged with a notification from Elliot.
Did you cancel?
Annoyed by his lack of apology, I made up my mind. Cancelled?
Just your portion.
I sent the message and turned back to the waiter.
Thank you. I'll have it.
There's no dinner at home, and I brought money just in case. It was a weekday, and not many people were around, so I decided to enjoy a solo dinner. I might as well vent and post pictures on social media. I've been using SNS almost every day since that day, but this is how it's meant to be used. Elliot has no knowledge or interest in SNS, and while it's usually troublesome, I'm glad for his tech clumsiness now. Chewing the beautiful dishes with my discontent, I finished the meal alone. My head buzzed from the wine, and I absent-mindedly looked towards the station. Many cars were parked in the roundabout, waiting to pick people up. Among them, I spotted a familiar car. Elliot's car. An unfamiliar woman approaches Elliot's car. The moment I looked at it, I was shocked. A young woman with long hair carrying an incongruous plastic bag approached Elliot's car and got into the passenger seat. She did it with such ease. My drunkenness vanished in an instant. I hurriedly tried to use the camera, but it was too late. Elliot's car drove off in the opposite direction of our house. Ahead were a movie theater, a rundown bowling alley, and then the hotel district. Anger began to boil inside me. My suspicions had turned into certainty. My mobile phone rang. It was Elliot. I'll be home in about 2 hours. I've already eaten, so don't wait up. It was the usual message, but now having witnessed everything, it just made me furious. I should have made him reflect on his actions before. I was a fool. After settling the bill, I left the restaurant quickly. I tried calling Elliot on the way home, but he didn't answer. I sent a message telling him to come home quickly, then stormed into the house, throwing my mobile phone onto the sofa. How long had it been? Elliot entered the living room, his demeanor unchanged, and handed me a plastic bag. And boom, sorry for missing your birthday. Here, this is for you. Inside were donuts with discount stickers. Normally, I would have laughed, but today I was just angry.
Hey, what were you doing?
What? Working, obviously.
Was a young girl in your own car? What kind of work?
What?
I threw the bag of donuts at Elliot, pulled out the Ziploc from the kitchen, and thrust it at him.
I found these in the car. You're cheating, aren't you? I want a divorce.
Elliot's eyes darted around. I would let him off this time. But his next words were unexpected.
What? Do you have proof?
What?
But the proof is,
Like I said,
Elliot yelled loudly. I flinched and he smirked triumphantly.
probably a girl I gave a ride to for work dropped that. What I'm asking is, do you have proof that I cheated?
I saw unfamiliar history in the car navigation. I have photos too. And I saw you tonight. I canceled only your portion at the restaurant. I ate dinner alone, so I saw you at the station rotary from the window.
Elliot sighed exaggeratedly.
That car navigation was just me thinking where to take you next. The station was your mistake.
It wasn't a mistake.
Where's the proof? If you're so sure, you must have a photo.
That well?
The moment I hesitated, Elliot punched the wall.
Coming home tired, and you accuse me of cheating, dismiss even my smallest gestures, without any proof. Shame on you for doing such a thing.
I was speechless at Elliot's outburst. Seeing me like that, Elliot sank into the sofa looking triumphant.
I won't divorce. Clean the shower room and polish my shoes. Business as usual.
Okay?
Arguing further was pointless. I turned to do the housework, hearing Elliot laughing behind me. 20 years of our relationship crumbled down. Along with it, any affection I had for Elliot froze. All that remained was anger and regret. I silently did the usual chores. Once Elliot fell asleep, I grabbed the spare car keys, packed the essentials, and left the house. I arrived at my parents' house by dawn. After explaining the situation, they quietly accepted me. A few hours later, Elliot called.
Where are you? Leaving without doing your chores? You're the worst wife.
If you had cheated, I would have...
Still saying that? I won't divorce. Come back immediately. You're supposed to serve me for life.
I reached my breaking point. To Elliot, I was just a convenient housekeeper. The housekeeper saw the affair, but couldn't speak up. If that's how it is, I have my own plans. He'll regret not admitting to the affair.
Okay, let's meet at the court. I'm filing for divorce mediation.
Ignoring Elliot's attempt to speak, I hung up. A simple divorce was no longer enough. Even after being cheated on, I won't forgive not getting compensation in the divorce trial. I gripped my mobile phone and called a detective agency. Then, on the day of the divorce mediation, weeks later, of course I was the one who filed for it. I heard from the mediator that Elliot unusually wanted a face-to-face mediation. That suited me fine. He probably thinks he can intimidate me like he did that day. But it won't work, and I know Elliot's eloquence better than anyone. Though the mediator is neutral, I couldn't dismiss the possibility of Elliot deceiving them in my absence. I accepted Elliot's request. At that point in time, Elliot appeared looking rather shabby. A wrinkled shirt and slacks, dirty leather shoes. It seems his affair partner isn't good at housekeeping. The moment Elliot saw me, he called my name in a pleading voice and dramatically professed his love for me. He must be finding single life difficult. Such a theatrical performance. The mediator watched in amazement for a while, but stopped Elliot when I cleared my throat. The mediator asked for my opinion first, yet Elliot started speaking before me. The mediator tried to stop him, but I quickly gestured not to. Elliot kept talking about how much he loved me and how faithful he was. He said he never cheated. He loves his wife. They always go out for meals on anniversaries. His tearful plea was infuriatingly realistic because it mixed truth with lies. After Elliot finished, the mediator turned to me.
Now, may we hear from you, Jamie?
Elliot's story contains lies. The fact is, he cheated. I supported him to the best of my ability. His affair felt like a betrayal to me. That's why I want a divorce. I didn't cheat. Show me the proof. Where's the proof?
Always about proofs. Since he insists, let's show him.
First, please look at this. These are photos of the car navigation history that made me suspect Elliot's affair. I printed them out. Here are the earring and hair I found in the car that day.
And Elliot, thinking the mediator wasn't looking, smirked. I opened my laptop and turned the screen towards Elliot and the mediator.
This is the SNS page of Elliot's affair partner.
What?
It seems Elliot hid the fact he was married. The affair partner regularly posted photos of their dates.
Elliot's smug smile vanished. The mediator asked me, may I?
Yes, please.
The mediator scrolled through the SNS page. It started as a hunch. Noticing most car navigation history was at scenic places, I wondered if Elliot or his affair partner might be in the background in some photos. So I searched, not yet ready to hire a detective, just wanting some confirmation. I found a lot of information. As a housewife, I had time to spare. I eventually found an account with a post saying, "Went on a drive date with my older boyfriend. Lost my favorite earring, so sad. Let me know if you find it." And a picture of the same earring found in the car. The account owner had the same hairstyle and coat as the woman who got into Elliot's car. Other posts matched the car navigation history, some even showing Elliot though his face was visible. I was sure she was the affair partner. The only regret was finding this after hiring the detective. But as soon as I found the account, I contacted the detective agency. The mediator's cold gaze fell on Elliot.
It's not cheating. It was just work socializing. She's misunderstanding.
Ignoring Elliot's defense, I said, "Here's more evidence."
What?
I spread a pile of photos on the table, received from the detective agency. After I left the house, Elliot, no longer needing excuses, seemed to have done as he pleased, and the detective agency easily captured numerous photos. Photos of him entering a hotel, photos of him entering his affair partner's house, photos of him bringing his affair partner to our home. This photo might be the highlight.
I said, "Wow," and showed the photo.
A 50-year-old man wearing a collar with a chain, being led by a young woman walking through a park at night with a look of ecstasy. The female mediator couldn't hide her disdain. Every time Elliot desperately crushed a photo, I pulled out more of the nightwalk photos taken from various angles. Looking into Elliot's eyes, I said again, "Wow."
Stop it. This isn't something to be spread around here.
Shall I spread it at your office, then?
What? Wait. Wait.
Here's another photo. If I may say, using your car as a bedroom substitute isn't wise.
I presented photos of the infidelity test results obtained by the detective using the car's spare key. Substances indicating infidelity were found inside the car.
Or do you prefer to ride in your car without underwear? Either way, it would be wise to stop.
I smiled mockingly at Elliot's red face, trembling for him.
Are you satisfied with the evidence?
At a loss for words, Elliot muttered something and then slumped defeated. The mediation proceeded smoothly after that. In addition to property division, a substantial compensation for years of marital betrayal was agreed upon. Naturally, after everything was settled, Elliot started to fuss.
I'll divorce you.
Even after paying you everything, I'll still have the house. I'll remarry a young, cute girlfriend, teach her housekeeping, and live modestly. You're paying your affair partner too?
What?
Since she posted about your relationship on SNS, it's clear you didn't tell her you were married. Who would post about dating a married man knowingly?
I had already identified the affair partner through her SNS account. I had contacted her through the detective before the mediation. Lilia, Elliot's affair partner, was under the impression that Elliot had a girlfriend he wanted to break up with and was unaware he was married.
She was showing off on SNS, dating an older man. She was planning to win him over by posting.
Well, if that wasn't the case, she wouldn't have posted on SNS. She said she's going to sue you. Be prepared. Oh, and of course she's ending things with you.
That's a lie, right?
Then the mediator announced, "It's time."
I thanked the mediator and left the courthouse, leaving a dejected Elliot behind.
Later, the detective updated me on Lilia and Elliot. Lilia faced backlash on her SNS for dating a married man, became known to her acquaintances, and couldn't stay at her job. She moved away from her apartment, now empty. Elliot, having to sell his house to pay the alimony for both of us, now lives in a cheap apartment. His life is a mess, he looks dirty, and his apartment reeks of garbage. He is disliked by his subordinates, scorned by his superiors, and was demoted to another department. Looks like he will have to work steadily even after retirement. As for me, I soon got a job at a small hospital near my parents' house. Despite a 20-year gap and struggling with new equipment, I am enjoying my work, blessed with kind colleagues. The money from Elliot went into renovating my parents' house, which I will inherit. The house needed updating to accommodate my aging parents. It's an all-family home, but the interior was completely renewed, much to my parents' joy. My savings dwindled due to the detective fees, but I don't regret it. I can work and earn more. Once I save up, I'll buy a car for myself, making commuting and shopping easier. Of course, if I get a boyfriend, I won't use the car for anything other than its intended purpose.